Page 128 in the brackets on the bottom.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Shabbat Shalom.
So good to see everybody. This is one of those instances where we know we are smiling at one another by seeing our eyes and seeing our eyebrows and knowing that we're helping to keep one another safe during this season of many different bugs going on out there. So if you're joining us on Zoom or if you're watching the recording of this service afterwards, welcome to you too. You do not have to wear a mask, just so you know, okay, in case you were feeling guilty about it. Okay, but don't rub it in our face by drinking your wine while we're having our service. I'm just kidding. That probably wasn't wine. Anyway, it's good to see all of you here. We do have another one of these mask-only services that we've planned for January the 13th. So if you feel more comfortable coming when we have the mask on, then put that one on your calendar too. And of course, all are welcome to these services. We're going to bring in the light of Shabbat with a special guest, Dr. C's mom, Rachel. We're so glad you're here. Please come on up and you can light the candles with your daughter. We're on page 120 in our prayer book. If you have brackets, look for the brackets for the page number.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
So glad
Shabbat
you're joining
Shalom.
us. Wonderful. Friends, we sing out with joy. That's what the first psalm of Kabbalah Shabbat has us do. And so it's a perfect place to start. Page 130, excuse me. Lechu neranena. That very difficult part repeats. Ladonai shir chadash. Sing unto God a new song. The English is not in the book, but the Hebrew is. So let the English just come into your head and join in when you get the hang of it.
Sing unto God a new song. Sing unto God and we'll all sing along. All the earth a new song unto God. I will sing unto God a new song.
Page 138. Let's put this in E minor for our mandolin.
Right, yeah, mandolin break. לשם ותפארת ותהילה לאחד הודי לקראת קהלה בני שבת נקבלה לאחד הודי לקראת קהלה בני שבת נקבלה לקראת שבת לכו במלכה כי היא בפה סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה לאחד הודי לקראת קהלה בני שבת נקבלה לאחד הודי לקראת קהלה בני שבת נקבלה הוא יחמוד עלייך חמלה לאחד הודי לקראת קהלה בני שבת נקבלה לאחד הודי לקראת קהלה בני שבת נקבלה עלייך נגלה לאחד הודי לקראת קהלה בני שבת נקבלה לאחד הודי לקראת קהלה בני שבת נקבלה.
We rise and face the entrance.
Glory ושלום ותהילה
142. We've all heard about the better angels of our nature. Well, we invite them in every Shabbat. That's what this prayer is orienting our hearts toward. The better angels. We enter Ma'ariv. Hopefully the spirit of Shabbat is beginning to enter our hearts. Hopefully we can let it out with great joy as we enter the main body of our service. Page 146, please rise if it is comfortable to do so.
Baruch et Adonai HaMevorach.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed.
Page 148, let's read together. Blessed
Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who speaks the evening into being, skillfully opens the gates, thoughtfully alters the time and changes the seasons, and arranges the stars in their heavenly courses according to plan. You are creator of day and night, blowing light away from darkness and darkness from light, transforming day into night and distinguishing one from the other. Adonai Tzvaot is your name. Ever-living God, may you reign continually over us into eternity. Blessed are you, Adonai, who brings on evening.
Page 150.
Avat olam Beit Yisrael, Amcha Ahata, Torah u'mitzvot u'kilu mishpatim, otanu v'ibadeta. Al ken Adonai Eloheinu, v'shofeinu אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים, ברוך אתה אדוני, אוהב עמו ישראל.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Page 150. You can have a seat.
את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברתם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם להות על ידך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם, אמן.
During the times since the original historical Hanukkah story over 2,000 years ago and through to today, there has been a great battle within Judaism about the Hanukkah story. What is the true miracle of the Hanukkah story? Is it God's deliverance, or is it human ability to overcome? Is it essentially the story of the miracle of the oil, or is it the miracle of that band of freedom fighters, the Maccabees, who were able to repel a much larger empire? And so that very tension is played out, believe it or not, even right here in our prayer book, where I always do this with the religious school, although I don't know if I'm going to have the chance given the timing of winter break. I always turn us to the Michamocha, which is on page 158, and I ask them to look at the first line and tell us who is hiding there in the first line of the prayer. If you look at the first Hebrew letter of each word, you'll see that something unexpected is waiting there, right, for interpretation, a new possibility.
Very good. Maccabee.
Very good, Josh. That's right. You're ready to graduate to 5th grade. Exactly so. So, and we're in the perfect setting, of course.
Yes.
I have to watch my head getting bonked on the beautiful dreidels we have. So there's a Maccabee hiding on the first line of the prayer. Mi, you know the words, let's say them together.
Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai.
You see the first letter of each word, mem, kav, bet, yud, Maccabee. So is it the story of God? Is it the story of human ability? Or is it really the story of both? And the miracle lies somewhere in between. That is up to all of us to determine, which we can meditate on as we sing the song to this special melody. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha nedav hakodesh, norot ve'ilot, oseh kaeleh.
משה ומרים אנו ואמרו אדוני יברך לעולם ועד אדוני יברך לעולם ועד ונאמר כי פקד אדוני את יעקב וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל.
Page 164.
הגיבור והנורא, אל עליון, גומל חסדים טובים, וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסרות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לפני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. וחוזר מושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. אתה גיבור אדוני, בחיי הכל תרב להושיע, משיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם, מכלכל חיים בחסד, בחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, צומח נופלים ורופף עולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשנה עפר. מי כמוך בגבורות ומדם מלך, מלך ממית ומחיה ומצליח ישועה. למען אתה לחיות הכל, ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיה הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני הקדוש.
Continue through page 180 with silent meditation. Feel free to take the time you need and have a seat when you are ready to sing a meditation to conclude.
Oseh shalom bimroma. Uyaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru amin. Oseh shalom bimroma. Uyaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru amin. Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael.
Friends, a moment of prayer that we take in a difficult place in our hearts, because there are so many people on the Shabbat, and so many people in our lives who are ill right now, that we know that it's important for us and important for them to wish them healing and strength and blessing. And so I really hope you'll think of yourselves, each individually, sending out blessing into the universe that hopefully might make a difference. We think of our temple members, Burton Boardman, April D'Amato, Norma Diamond, Susan Glantz, Ann Karamanis, Phyllis Kaufman, Josh Lipschitz, Linda Rosenfeld, Patty Sussman, and Mark Warner, as well as our loved ones, Barak Yaakov ben Avraham Basara, Tamar Bat Rachel, Harav Chaim ben Leah, Linda Kaufman, Lenore Shapiro, Connie Ambrosino, Joanne Crisulo, Soraya Casey, Brian Kamens, Steve Kamens, Cecilia Byrne, Bernard Steinberg, Steve Rudnick, John Van Steenbergen, Sabine Meyer, Gloria Newell, Roberta Gleit, Barbara Whitehouse, Paul Frisman, Bruce Petroff, Jordan Lustig, Tim Maurer, Jackie Rise, Jesse Stewart, Henya Fetterman, Sherry Cohn, Joan Sidney, Robert Garfield, David Glazer, Gail Feidelberg, Samuel Feidelberg, Deborah Poulin, Michael Stafford, Ira Weiss, Drew Garabo, and Greg Ripka. There are others from Misha Berach prayers you'd like to share with our community tonight. If you're on Zoom, feel free to add their name into the chat. And if you're here, feel free to say their name aloud or hold them in your heart. Lawrence Hart. Lawrence Hart.
Carmela Sieranello.
Carmela Ciaranello. Anyone over here? Susie?
Jerry Kelp
Jerry Howe.
and Tony Esposito.
Tony Esposito. Our friends on Zoom, we include Carol Robb. We add Carol Robb to our prayers as we together join in prayer for healing Misha Berach, page 371.
May the source of strength who bless the ones before us help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen.
some of us have had the opportunity to do a little Hanukkah learning already, getting ready for the holiday. Ken was there when we studied with the men's club last week, and we learned some things about Hanukkah that were perhaps a little new, perhaps a little surprising. I'd like to focus on one of them, given the times that we're living through, because it's my job as your rabbi to help make the tradition relevant and ongoing. And I believe that part of the teachings around the Hanukkah menorah are actually incredibly important for this time of year, this time in our country. So as we look forward to this holiday, a particular photo of a Chanukiah or a Hanukkah menorah is coming into my mind. Some of you perhaps have seen this before. Is it familiar to you? I'm going to pass it around because I know it's hard to see. It is. Yeah. This particular image is a photo from Kiel, Germany, taken in 1932. To me, it represents courage, defiance, and the impossible miracle of Jewish survival. In other words, everything that we celebrate also at Hanukkah. The image is even more remarkable that when you consider the halakha, or the Jewish laws concerning the Chanukiah and its placement. We read in the Talmud, Tanu Rabbanan, Ner Chanukah mitzvah lahanicha al petach beito mibachutz, imahiyadar ba'aliyat menicha b'chalon hasmucha l'reshut harabim, u'b'sha'at ha'sakana manicha al shulchano v'dayu. The sage is taught it's a mitzvah to place the Hanukkah menorah at the entrance to one's house on the outside so that all can see it. If one lives upstairs, one places it at the window adjacent to the public domain. And in times of danger, one places the menorah on the table, and that is sufficient to fulfill one's obligation. The first part of this teaching, the one about putting your Hanukkah menorah just outside of your dwelling, adjacent to the public domain, transports me back to Jerusalem. Has anybody been in Jerusalem during Hanukkah before? It's a pretty amazing thing. You don't count, sorry.
She should count.
Okay, fine, you count, you count.
I think you count.
I know you've also been in Jerusalem during Hanukkah.
Yes, I have.
Bethlehem, Jerusalem. Yeah.
Okay, great, very interesting. So I highly recommend that you get at least once in your life the chance to walk through the old city during Hanukkah, especially if you go in one of the latter nights. The old city of Jerusalem, with its beautiful pale limestone, has an amazing sight because people there have a different sort of menorah than most of the ones that we have in our homes here in the USA. They hang these beautiful cases right outside of their houses. And for instance, an apartment building might have several rows for each family, or multiple lamps per family, lit up with oil in glass jars, just like, well, I don't know about just like, but similar to the way it would have been done in ancient times, as oil lamps and not as beautiful, cheap Chinese colorful candles that we hand out these days. Right? The oil is very much of the land of Israel and connects to the story in a beautiful way, because Hanukkah is very much a holiday of Eretz Israel, of the land of Israel. And so if you go, you'll see that late in the holiday at night, there will be a warm glow from every dwelling, sometimes two big cases right next to one another, or three or four, and the dancing oil from those wicks cast shadows across the limestone, and it transports you back thousands of years. It is the most warm, most beautiful thing, where you can really feel the miracle in your bones. It is incomparable. And from this tradition, we can learn two things. The spiritual meaning of Hanukkah is for each Jewish person to enjoy, and each Jewish person can have his or her own menorah, but also that the miracle is to share. The Hebrew concept is called Pirsum Hanes, the publicization of the miracle of Hanukkah, so that others may appreciate and understand it as well. In this way, Hanukkah is as public a home holiday as Passover is a private home holiday. On Passover, we invite family and friends and guests into our homes for the Seder. On Hanukkah, we invite the entire world into the story of the miracle from our homes. And so each doorway, each window is supposed to be an invitation to the entire world to understand and participate in and rejoice in the miracle of Hanukkah. But I don't want to gloss over the second part of the teaching that we learn in the Talmud, which is about the times of sakana, the times of danger. We don't really know what the Talmud is talking about in specific about this time of danger, but we know that we have endured through too many periods of persecution to be naive about the world around us and what happens when we display ourselves and who we are to the world around us. That's why the Talmud says in the time of danger, bisha'at sakana, one may simply place the menorah on the table inside so as not to draw too much attention to the fact that this is a Jewish home, observing a Jewish festival about overcoming persecution. So it's an opportunity for us to think to ourselves, when in our lives have we felt very comfortable putting that menorah at the window, even outside of our house if we had such a glass case? And when does it feel a little different? When have we felt a little more cautious about showing to the entire world that we are a Jewish household and that we are celebrating a miracle of the Jewish people? These are not easy questions, and these are not easy times we are living in, which is one reason I come back to that photo. And those of you who ended up with the photos, hold them up one more time.
It's next to you. They gave them.
I ended up with the photos. This photo from the inside of the home shows the Nazi flag on the building immediately across from it. And in 1932, I do not believe that the people who took this photo would have exactly known what horrors would unfold in the decade to come. But they certainly had enough of a warning and enough of a sense of history to appreciate what this photo would mean years later. In high school, I began to experiment with wearing Jewish clothing. I wore a kippah and tzitzit, those fringes that are visible at the corner of one's outfit. And I remember talking to a classmate after I had gotten back from a trip to Israel. She was Jewish too, and even had a Magen David, she told me, a Jewish star necklace. And as she told me, she reached in and pulled it out of her shirt because she told me she didn't feel comfortable wearing it on the outside. Most people in our community do not wear any obvious outward sign of being Jewish. I don't imagine that this is a time that would encourage many people to start doing that. Yet for those considering, I would suggest that perhaps there is no more important time than now to start wearing that kippah or that Jewish star necklace. You may disagree. I feel like opinions probably go on either side of this issue. But I always come back to this photo. That photo that is so brazen that it shocks us. That photo that reminds us that we are not, for all of the challenges in this country, living under the Third Reich. As scary as things are, we are incredibly fortunate to be living in, believe it or not, still the freest, safest, most miraculous time to be Jewish in the world, ever, by a long shot, by a large margin. I can't take that for granted, even despite our concerns. And during these unsettling times, I believe that there is no better way to fight the forces of hate than to live proudly as Jewish people, building our relationships with those around us, inviting and including non-Jewish friends and family members within our celebrations, and showing everyone the best of what Judaism is all about. Being proudly Jewish matters. Confronting bigotry we may encounter without tolerance or sanction matters. Education and awareness matter. Preparing our young people who are about to go to college for the challenges they will likely encounter about being Jewish on college campuses matters. What we do in our daily lives in a place like the Shoreline matters. In fact, I think it matters more than in places like big cities. I think that we have a different weight on our shoulders, but also a different responsibility here. And to that end, I'd like to remind us that we have an opportunity together with our Kulanu group that we heard about from Dr. Shanzer last week to take action and join together with our community partners against anti-Semitism, an event that will be happening next month. And of course, we'll stay tuned for other opportunities and different ways to engage on this topic in an organized way to come down the road. This famous photo began from the story of the Posner family, okay? Rachel Posner was the wife of Rabbi Dr. Akiva Posner. And she took this photo in Hanukkah of 1932. I don't have it here on the back, but in German, she wrote the following, and I translate: "Death to Judah, so the flag says. Judah will live forever, so the light answers." She wrote that in 1932. Now, in the years that followed in this small community in Germany, Rabbi Posner succeeded in convincing many of his congregants to emigrate to the United States and to pre-state Palestine, as they, the Posner family, did, in the face of increasing persecution. As we know, many were not so lucky. These days, another Akiva, the great-grandson of that Rabbi Akiva from Germany, lives with his family in Beit Shemesh, in the Jerusalem area. The famous menorah that you saw in this picture is on display at Israel's Yad Vashem. Who has visited Yad Vashem? Yad Vashem, as you know, is the foremost museum and education center for the Shoah in the world. And this menorah resides there all year. All year, that is, except for next week, when during Hanukkah, Akiva, the great-grandson, lights it proudly with his family, placing it in the window of their home in Beit Shemesh, Israel, for all to see. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. It's beautiful.
We enter the conclusion of our service now with Aleinu L'Shabeach, page 586. Please rise.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא.
Page 591.
ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
Friends, let's please have a seat. I'd like to share this poem from Chana Senish, famous Israeli poet. And she wasn't really Israeli, but I think of her as such because she gave her life to the state of Israel, which would be found in just shortly after her death and capture and death as a Hungarian paratrooper. And she wrote, Yesh kochavim she'oram magia arza rak asher hem atzmam avdu ve'enam. Yesh anashim sheziv zichram me'ir asher hem atzmam enam od betochenu. Orot ele amavchikim b'cheshkat halayu hem shemarim la'adam taderech. There are stars up above, she writes, so far away that we only see their light long, long after the star itself is gone. And so it is with people that we've loved. Their memories keep shining brightly, although their time with us is done. But the stars that light up the darkest night, these are the lights that guide us. We live our days, and these are the ways we remember. I'll invite us all to think of that light that you're carrying in your heart right now at this time of light. the light that was kindled perhaps by someone whom you love, who's no longer in our world, but is very much still present in your life and in your heart. And we're thinking as a community of the family of Carol Gubitz, wife of Myron Gubitz, of blessed memory, for her shloshim. And we're thinking also at this time of year of the yahrzeits of all who passed away in this time and years gone by. If you're here for a yahrzeit remembrance, I invite you to rise and stay standing as I read the name of your loved one. We think of Gerald Rosen, Evelyn Krug, Ken Lieberman, Phyllis Perlich, Marcia Coppell, Eva Chakis, Helen Davis, Abraham Bart, Alma Langevin, Martin Paley, Eleanor Rosenblatt, Seymour Friedman, Frederick Kessler, Gerald Rosen, Hilda Jacobson Goldberg, Robert Agranoff, Bessie Pat Sherry, William Brody, Joseph Kors, Rose Friedman Schwartz, and Elaine August Richmond. We also hold in our hearts with great sadness the 20 students and 6 educators of the Sandy Hook Elementary School in Newtown, Connecticut, who perished 10 years ago. There are others who are thinking of someone they love for Kaddish prayers and would like to share their name with the community. I invite you to do so at this time. On Zoom, we recognize Bernie Delitsky, and others who are holding someone in their hearts. I invite to rise as we together rise, as we honor all of those in our lives who have passed away, but whose light shines ever brightly. Page 598. Yikadal v'kadash shemei rabbah, ve'alma divrach chirutei, ve'amlich malchutei, v'chayechon v'yomechon, v'chayei b'chol beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'b'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehi shmei rabbah mevorach le'olam u'lemei omayah. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal shmei v'kudesha b'richu. Le'elan im kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, ta'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehi shlama rabbah min shmaya, v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. May the source of comfort all of the bereaved among our community. Together we say, Amen.
Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen.
Friends, we can have a seat. We invite Sabrina Maurer to greet us on behalf of our board.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat shalom.
A warm welcome to any guests here with us tonight. My name is Sabrina Maurer. I'm the Financial Vice President on the TBT Board of Directors. Tomorrow, join us on Zoom for Jewish mindfulness and meditation at 8 a.m., followed by Torah study at 9 a.m., led by Dr. C. The link is in your inbox. On Sunday, celebrate Hanukkah with us at 5 p.m. here at TBT. There will be no religious school, tikkun, or confirmation classes in the morning. We hope to see you here on Sunday evening. The TBT design team is conducting its next round of small group conversations about the Jewish future here on the shoreline. It's called TBT Connects, and we would love to include your voice. To sign up, please contact Bonnie in the office. And for more information about the project, just ask Rabbi Moss. Next Friday, join us for Shabbat services here at TBT in our brand new community room. Bring your menorah and candles for the Hanukkah Shabbat. Turn into the south entrance from Durham Road, and you will find us. Again, Shabbat Shalom.
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 Thank you, Sabrina.
Just as a reminder, tomorrow evening's Hanukkah celebration will be from 5 to 7.
Sunday evening.
Sunday. My time sense is gone. Sunday evening from 5 to 7. Apologies.
The only tricky thing about moving into the community room, which I'm really excited about, is that you've got to drive to the other entrance. You can't walk through, okay? So next week, we're going to try the experiment of doing services there, and we're going to have volunteers to help and signage, etc. However, just remember, there is a parking lot that you can park in on the south entrance now. I know that you're not used to seeing that, but it's there and it's ready. And I'll add that the space is much more accessible, okay? Because there aren't steps to get in. It's just a straight graded entrance, and then the room is right next door. So if you have been wanting to invite a friend or family member who has a little bit more time accessing the space, then the space will be much more accessible next week than really it's ever been to come to shul since I've been here, which I personally am very excited about. Okay, everybody, what's our closing song, Dr. C?
I believe it's Not by Might.
Oh, that's such a good one. Yes, we started singing this last week, and it's a great Hanukkah classic. What page number is it?
669.
669.
In the brackets.
From the prophet Zechariah, who said it's not by strength, not by force, but it's the spirit, it's the ruach that leads the way. A great message in a very militaristic holiday. Can you do 3 sets of 3 as a clap? Yes.
Not by might and not by power, but by Spirit alone shall we all live in peace. Not by might and not by power, but by Spirit alone shall we all live in peace. The children sing,
Mama, the
children dream, and their tears may fall, but we'll hear them blow, and another song will rise, another song will rise, another song will rise.
clap those hands. 3 sets of 3. Here we go.
Not by might and not by power, but by Spirit alone shall we all live in peace. Not by might and not by power, but by Spirit alone shall we all live in peace. Not by might, not by power.
All right. Shall we make Kiddush together, friends? We had a lovely oneg last week, thanks to Jill and John Lesage for putting that together. And believe it or not, we can have a lovely oneg any week. We just need you to host it. Okay. This is on page 123 if you'd like to follow along. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kishanu b'mitzvotav ve'atzavanu v'shabbat kodesho v'ahava u'ratzon yigdilanu zikaron le'ma'aseh b'reshit.
Kibuyot tefillah mikra'e kodesh, zecher v'siyat
Mitzrayim. Kivanu achata, v'tanu kidasha, mikol ha'amim, v'shavat kodeshecha, v'ahava u'ratzon, infatanu, Baruch atah Adonai, mekadesh ha'shavat lechaim.
Remove his mask and take a sip. Out the door. Letting Eliyahu in for a little sip. Eliyahu was out there, just needed a. Yeah. Sorry.
We'll leave the challah out in case you want to grab a piece on the way out as well. Okay, so please do. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz, Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom, everybody.
Shabbat shalom.
Please do come back next week. Bring your Hanukkah menorah. We can't wait to celebrate the holiday together if you're around. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Yasher koach. Shabbat shalom, Zoom friends.